Year after year in rugged head-to-head competition, the Kubota has fallen short of the Polaris Ranger. For 2009, Ranger has added new dual front A-arms for a smoother ride and 50% easier steering, a tough new front end, and new work-enabling ergonomics. Let's put those new features to the test in the Ranger Rodeo. Today's off-road competitors are the Polaris Ranger 4x4 500 EFI, the base model in the new Ranger lineup, going against the Kubota RTV900. To ensure fairness, the course, vehicle setup, and tests have been monitored and validated by an independent third party. Let's get started. So let's compare cab storage. If you're working or hunting, you always need tons of gear within arm's reach. The Kubota has no in-cab storage. The Ranger's brand new cab design has a big sealed glove box and 4 in-dash storage compartments. Total volume, over 1,700 cubic inches. Plenty of room to keep all your gear handy while working or hunting. Need even more storage? The new Ranger 700 XP and Ranger HD now feature a removable storage box under the seat. Let's compare cab space and comfort. In order to work hard, you've got to be comfortable. The Kubota seats 2, and it can be a tight fit, especially for the driver, who gets very little leg room. The Ranger has beat Kubota in the past with comfortable 3-person seating. Now the Ranger's redesigned cab space features a new seat that's recessed and angled back for car-like comfort. The new Ranger has 11% more legroom and 25% more total cab space than the Kubota. Plus, new tilt steering with the highest range of motion of any utility vehicle for easy in and out and customized comfort while driving. No matter how big or tall you are, Ranger gives you extra room to get the job done in comfort. Our next hard-working test compares top speed. The Ranger, with 50% more horsepower, quickly pulls away from the Kubota. The Kubota tops out at 25 miles per hour. The Ranger, 41 miles per hour, a clear off-road advantage. Just as important as go power is stopping power. Let's see which vehicle has the best brakes. Both the Kubota and Ranger have hydraulic disc brakes. We'll run each vehicle at 25 miles per hour, then activate the brakes. To ensure fairness, we'll use an air cylinder that delivers a constant 30 pounds of force to the brake pedal. In a series of braking tests, the Ranger stopped at an average distance of 24 feet. It took the Kubota over 39 feet to stop, a full 15 feet farther than the Ranger. A hard-working vehicle must be able to get over rough terrain. This test compares 4-wheel drive traction. When the Kubota is stopped by a boulder or log, its limited slip front differential sends power to just one wheel. It's going nowhere. That means when you encounter extreme terrain on a Kubota, you could be stopped in your tracks. The Ranger delivers true all-wheel drive, automatically sending power to all 4 wheels when you need it. You get superior traction and plenty of power to pull you up and over rocks, logs, and other obstacles. Here are more hard-working comparisons. The Kubota has a 7.9-gallon fuel tank and uses diesel fuel. The Ranger uses regular gasoline, just like your small engine equipment, and holds 9 gallons, 14% larger. The Ranger has D-rings inside the box and plenty of tie-down points to easily secure and carry cargo. The Kubota does not. The new Ranger is, without a doubt, the hardest working vehicle. Now let's see which one is the smoothest riding. The new Ranger now has dual A-arm front suspension. It provides the operator with 2 big advantages: smoother ride and handling over rough terrain, and full adjustability for work and play. The new dual A-arms on the Ranger are fully adjustable. It has spring preload adjustment that lets you dial in the suspension for recreational riding and light-duty work. And when the work gets tough or the terrain gets rough, it has motion ratio adjustment. 2 upper shock mounting points, also on the rear shocks, let you dramatically increase suspension stiffness. The Kubota suspension is not adjustable. With dual A-arms and suspension adjustability, the Ranger will be tough to beat in the smoothest riding tests. Let's see what happens. Smoothing out rough terrain is all about suspension travel. The Kubota has 4.1 inches of front suspension travel and 3.5 inches in the rear. Minimal suspension travel, which means maximum trouble over the bumps. The new Ranger leads the industry. It has a full 9.6 inches of travel in the front, more than twice the Kubota. In the rear, it has 9 inches of travel, over 5 inches more than the Kubota. That translates to a smooth ride the Kubota simply cannot match. Our next smooth riding test compares ground clearance. The empty Kubota has only 8 inches to begin with. Add a driver, passenger, and 600 pounds in the box, and the Kubota loses another inch of ground clearance. With the Kubota weighing in at 700 pounds more than the Ranger, that's a whole lot of metal slamming into a rock if you don't clear it. The empty Ranger has 12 inches of ground clearance. Add the same load and the Ranger has almost 3 inches more ground clearance than the Kubota. That means less worry about slamming into rocks and stumps when you're working or riding off-road. Here's an industry first. The all-new Ranger HD is the first utility vehicle with self-leveling shocks, eliminating rear-end squat when carrying heavy loads. Put up to 1,000 pounds in the box. When the Ranger HD starts moving over rough terrain, the Nivomat shocks start working, lifting the box to near its unloaded height. That maximizes suspension travel and ground clearance, keeping the ride smooth during all kinds of heavy-duty applications. Looks like the new features on the ruggedly re-engineered Ranger make it even harder for Kubota to keep up. In test after test, spec after spec, the Polaris Ranger 500 EFI beats the Kubota RTV900. Year after year, Ranger proves it's the hardest working, smoothest riding utility vehicle you can buy. But it's starting to take a toll on our test drivers.